Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. He guides the hearts to the guide. We ask Allah that He puts us into the circle of those who are guided on His path. Ihdinas Sirat al-Mustaqim. And I praise and send salutations upon our Master Sayyidina Muhammad, the one through him the darknesses are expelled, darknesses of delusions, and the darknesses of the soul, and the darknesses of the spirit. And because the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was sent as a guide, as a teacher, as a one who shows you the path, and as a one who purifies you. Praise and salutations be upon him, his family and companions, and upon the spirit of Imam al-Ghazali. May Allah have mercy on him, whose book that we are reading, and we continue to be in his gardens. We take pleasure from the fruits and the flowers in his gardens. So may Allah reward him immensely, and may He unite us with him in paradise as brothers. Inshallah, on every Tuesday evening, we're going to read from the book The 40 Foundations of Imam al-Ghazali, from the indication that we've received from our teachers, Habib Umar. And some of you may remember that a couple of years ago we attended the same lesson, and we intend with this to act upon it and to revise what we studied. And there's no doubt that we've missed out, or we've forgotten a lot of the knowledge in this book, and what we've forgotten of the action, or missed out on the action, is a lot more than what we've forgotten from the. A lot of us have forgotten knowledge, but the actions that we've forgotten are more than what we've forgotten from the knowledge. So the reality is, what you forget of knowledge is less than what you don't practice, and whoever practices something without knowledge, that practice is rejected. So this is why you need to learn and act upon what you learn. Tonight, inshallah, our conversation will be an introduction about the author and about this book, so that we know in the beginning of our journey into this book, how do we make the most of it? How do we benefit? How do we take guidance from the summary of this book, or from the essence of this book? Firstly, Imam al-Ghazali, may Allah have mercy on him, is not someone unknown to us, and you've heard this name a lot. And he has been given the title the Proof of Islam, and many people have spoken about him, and many people have praised him. On the contrary, you would also find other people, may Allah protect us from this state, is that who criticize him, who talk bad about him. And this is the state of the world, that there's no person except that he's criticized or spoken bad about. And this is why we even find the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, the disbelievers of Quraysh, how they lied, they betrayed their own souls, let alone lying to the people. And this is something that grieved the Prophet, peace be upon him, because he knew that they know that they're lying. When your friend knows you as someone respectful, and someone sincere, and someone honest, and all of a sudden there is a misunderstanding between the two of you, and he starts talking the opposite about you. He starts saying that I know that you are insincere, and I know that you are treacherous, and I know. You would be grieved a lot when you hear those words from him, and you think, you know me. So similarly, the Prophet, peace upon him, grieved a lot when the Quraysh accused him of lies and poetry and these things, and they knew that they were liars. And this is why the grief overcame the Prophet ﷺ. And for this reason Allah brought down the verses. We know that what the words that come out of them is grieving you a lot, but uh, they're not rejecting you. They're only oppressors of their own souls. They know that you're true, and they know that you are of great character, and they know that you are such and such, but the reality is that they're lying to themselves. They're not lying about you. They are oppressors of the signs of Allah Azza wa Jal. And this is the case of Imam al-Ghazali, that there are people who praised him, and then there are people who spoke bad of him. Our ulama and our teachers, mashayikh, say that if you don't find anyone who criticizes you or speaks bad of you, then inspect your intention. If you find all of the people praising you and all of the people talking good about you, that this person is good and he's respectful, and there's no person who has mentioned your faults, are the scholars of the spiritual path say that you have a problem with your intentions. Why? Because from the sign of the truthfulness of a slave with his Allah, with his Lord, the sign of the truthfulness of one person before Allah is that you will find someone, at least one person, speaking bad of you. Why is that so? Because all of the righteous people who have preceded you were exposed to people who spoke bad of them. And Allah says in the Quran, and similarly we made enemies from amongst the jinns and humans who were enemies of the prophets. So the sign of the truthfulness of a murid is that he will find at least one person speaking bad about you. It might be even somebody from your relatives, your uncle or your aunt or your brother or sister or your wife or your cousin, etc. They might speak bad of you. So be at ease and don't be grieved. So Imam al-Ghazali, as we said, he was one of the most famous of scholars. But one of the things that he'll mention, what did the Ba'alawi scholars say about him? Some of the early righteous Ba'alawi scholars said, it is said that the Ba'alawis of Tarim, that once upon a time, the elect of the awliya of Tarim came together. Why did they come together? They came together to put a book or a curriculum for their children and for their progeny who would come after them till the day of judgment. They wanted to prepare a curriculum. They weren't thinking just about their present families. They were thinking about their progeny to come after, the great grandchildren, etc. We maybe after 50 years, most of us won't be present, like just as we weren't present 50 years ago. Everyone, look at your age. Your age is 30, 40, 50. 50 years ago, you weren't there. Let's say you will live 100 years. After 50 years, you will pass away, and there'll just be some information about you, and who will be left are your children or your grandchildren, and then the great grandchildren until the day of judgment. So the elect of the Bani Alawi got together, and they were facing, and they decided to prepare a path and a book for their children to come. They wanted to bring together a book for their children. And they had not heard of Imam al-Ghazali. They had not heard of this Imam. So while they were discussing and they were deciding on this, a book from the books of Imam al-Ghazali came to them. At that age, news was not so easy to spread. It would take a long time for it to reach. There weren't modern means of communication. So the book Ihya Ulumuddin, Revival of the Religious Sciences, came to them, and the author of that book was titled The Proof of Islam, Muhammad ibn Muhammad Atusi and Naisubi. So they looked through that book and they read that book, and they relied on that book, and they said, this is it. He said Imam al-Ghazali is enough for us. That the reason why we came together is for something like this. So they brought together most of the books of Imam al-Ghazali, and they permitted the children who came after them to read his books. This is why you see the elect of the Mashayikh of Bani Alawi, if you seek to take religious or if you seek ijaza or permission from them, you should seek the ijaza of seeking knowledge. And why you should seek that is because that is something that will give you foundation. People just ask for ijaza for barakah, which is good, but that shouldn't be enough. If Allah has enabled you to meet the ulama, the scholars, and the elect, it is not easy to come together with such ulama. If Allah has allowed you to be in the company of such ulama, then make the most of it and seek their ijazah. So this is why they would give the license, the spiritual license of reading the books of Imam al-Ghazali and Imam al-Haddad. And from the ulama who would give this this license, spiritual license, would be Habib Abdul Qadir bin Ahmed al-Saqaf, and this his book Habib Hussein has been given that spiritual license and religious license to teach from Habib Ahmed Abdul Qadir al-Saqaf and Habib Umar. So they relied on these books as a way of life for their children and their grandchildren. So since we are associated to the Banu Alawi, or associated to those who are connected to them, and all of them are connected, all of the other parts as well who are connected to the Prophet ﷺ, we should make something from the books of Imam al-Ghazali as a way of life for us or our children. And the beginning should be the book Bidayatul Hidayah, beginning of guidance. And Habib will say, what did the elect of the Banu Alawi said about Imam al-Ghazali in general and about his books in specific? So Imam al-Haddad, may Allah make us benefit from him, said, he said, read much of Imam al-Ghazali, read much of the books of Imam al-Ghazali, because it is like the sauce in the food, or like if you have rice or some kind of food, you need a sauce with it, something that would so that book is the thing that is most delicious in the food, is the foundation. So Imam al-Ghazali said, Imam al-Haddad says that read much or read a lot of the books of Imam al-Ghazali, because they are like the sauce in the food. So all of the books in all of the libraries, the books of Imam al-Ghazali is like the sauce or the main dish amongst all of the other dishes. And it's like it's the main book in the books of your house. And Habib's mentioned this before, that your house should not be void of the books of Imam al-Ghazali, especially the book Ihya Ulumuddin, and also the book of Al-Adhkar of Imam al-Nawawi, and also the book of Sahih al-Bukhari of Imam, and also from the books of Imam al-Haddad, especially the Diwan, the collection of his poems. Your house should not be void of these books. The book of Imam al-Ghazali, Ihya Ulumuddin, Kitab al-Adhkar of Imam al-Nawawi, and Sahih Imam al-Bukhari, and the books of Imam al-Haddad. Similarly, they shouldn't be in the form they shouldn't just be in the form of PDF. This is just for dire need that is carried in your phone. But for you to have a book, it has a great benefit. Also, Habib Ahmed bin Zayn al-Habashi, Habib Ahmed bin Zayn al-Habashi said that if Imam al-Ghazali says something, then don't depend on those who objected him. If Imam al-Ghazali had an opinion, then don't look at the opinions of those who opposed him. Why? Because Imam al-Ghazali, if he says something, then it is rooted in the foundations of jurisprudence, hadith, and the spiritual path, the spiritual wayfaring. Or in other words, it has the foundations of Sharia, Tariqah, and Haqiqah. To be clear. So, for instance, the jurists, if they want to give a ruling on some matter related to, let's say, worship or prayer or fasting, what would they say? They would say that the wudu is correct, for instance, or they would say the prayer is correct based on your actions that you did. But they cannot say your prayer is accepted. Imam al-Ghazali, on the other hand, he by the permission of Allah, he basically explains how your worship can be close to acceptance, or more likely to be accepted, because your worship can be correct but not acceptable. Like, for instance, if a person prayed with, let's say, wearing clothes that he stole, even if it's one thing, like, for instance, he stole a shawl, he stole it from somebody without taking his permission, and he's praying wearing it. His wudu is correct. He's facing the Qibla. He's covering his nakedness. He's done all of the sunnahs but his shawl is stolen. What is the ruling on his prayer? His prayer is correct, but is not accepted. I don't want my prayer to be just correct. I want my prayer to be accepted, because if the action is accepted, you are accepted. Because if it is said your action is accepted, it means you would take all of the reward, and your ranks would ascend in paradise, would be raised in paradise, and Allah would love you, Azza wa Jal, and He would put on you. And if your acts of worship are accepted one after the other, then the garment of acceptance will be put over you. So you would be somebody who's accepted, and your dua would be accepted, and your actions would be accepted, and even your intercession would be accepted. Even your intercession would be accepted. What do you mean by intercession? Like somebody, like, you know how they refer to in colloquial languages as wasta. So the Prophet, peace be upon him, is the master of all those who are accepted. And this is why Allah will say to him, say, and whatever you say will be accepted. Whatever you say will be accepted on the day of judgment. Every word of the Prophet, peace be upon him, will be accepted on the day of judgment. Make intercession, and your intercession will be given. Ask, and you'll be given. You'll be granted. Imam al-Ghazali, as uh, that as one of the righteous Salafs said, he says that Sayyidina Qutb al-Aidarus, the great al-Aidarus, he said that all of the Gnostics, the ulama who are Gnostics, they are in consensus. They are in consensus. Those who are arifun billah, that they are in consensus that there's nothing more beneficial for the heart and close to his Allah's acceptance and good pleasure than reading and going through the books of Imam al-Ghazali and loving them. So look, Imam al-Aidarus, who is saying something, and his words are the truth because he's somebody who's known as a Gnostic. He said the ulama who are Gnostics of Allah, who are knowers of Allah, are in consensus that there is nothing more beneficial for the heart. There's nothing more beneficial beneficial for the heart and close to Allah's good pleasure than uh, than studying the books of Imam al-Ghazali and loving his books. So if you cannot, if it's not, if it's not been made easy for you, or you didn't get the opportunity to study the books of Imam al-Ghazali, because it's not easy to read the books, you need a lot of patience. Even his addresses are very direct when he says, "Oh ignoramus, oh enemy of your own soul." You have to be patient hearing these words. You can't. It's not easy to hear the words of somebody calling you a fool based when your intention is exposed. Even your even children, if you were to address them like this, like calling them a fool or an enemy of yourself, the children will say you're being negative, or you're being angry. And even true, the age is different, and we need to soften in our speech, especially in this day and age. But Imam al-Ghazali, he has passed away, so accept his words. So for this reason, they say that if you cannot study his books, then at least you should love his books. Just loving the books of Imam al-Ghazali is beneficial for your heart. Why? Because those whom you love, what does Habib Umar say? Let your heart leave the ulama, or keep the ulama, or keep the righteous in your heart. Who are they? The prophets, the messengers, the Sahaba, the Ahl Bayt, the righteous. They're most beneficial for your heart. Keep them in your heart. The mere fact, the mere you merely loving them is beneficial for your heart. Your heart starts benefiting. Your heart starts uh, um, your heart starts purifying. Like Imam Shafi said, that I love the righteous even though I'm not from them, and I hope that I would receive their intercession. The age that we're living at, there's a lot of means uh, of of seeking of sacred knowledge. Um, uh, now in this day and age. But earlier, we didn't have these means of seeking sacred knowledge. We had we just had our close companionship. We had our teachers, our madrasa. We didn't even know the names of the different religions that are there. People might call this backward or close-minded. People didn't even see anyone who wore a cross or a Hindu or any of. But this is the age that we're living in, that everything is open. Everyone is expressing the things that they worship. Those who worship uh, the there are people who the people who now worship the devil, but now so your children and those who come after, like the grandchildren, unfortunately, I'm not saying as somebody speaking of bad omen, but the Prophet, peace be upon him, has already informed us that the preference is for the early generations. The best of generation is those who is the generation of the Prophet ﷺ, and then the one after, and then the one after, and then it'll get worse and worse and worse. Uh, we seek refuge in Allah. But that worseness is for the generality, because the majority will be non-Muslims. The majority of the people of hellfire are non-Muslims, and the majority of the people of paradise are from the ummah of the Prophet ﷺ, because majority of the ummah of the Prophet ﷺ are those who believe. So you, being from the ummah of the Prophet ﷺ, it's a great honor that you have the opportunity to be from the highest places in paradise. So loving the books of Imam al-Ghazali, just merely loving it benefits your heart. It's a medicine, and there's no doubt that if you love his books, you would love him. There's no there's no way you can love a book and not love the author. You can't just say it's a beautiful book. It could be that uh, somebody has good writings, like how we see there are good books written by some people who are actually non-Muslims. Um, we're not making something prohibited, but and we're not prohibiting you from seeking knowledge, as it is said that wisdom is the lost property of the believers. But but we're saying that if these books have benefit, take that benefit, but take with caution. What do you mean by taking with caution? If it's said to you, you you will enter this jungle or this, and in this jungle there are beautiful scenes, there are fruits, but be careful of the leopards and the tigers and the venomous things in there. Like, this river is beautiful, but be careful, there's a crocodile in there. You might be enjoying the scene, but and the crocodile can come and swallow you with just one bite. Where where is the beautiful scene? It all goes away. Or a snake comes, or a carnivore comes to you. He will finish off your or you fall into a pit and you don't even see that. So this for this reason, these books that are written by non-Muslims, like an atheist, he admits that he's an atheist, and he boasts about his atheism. What do you get from it? What knowledge are you seeking from this from this atheist? The most ignoramus people are those who don't know that who don't believe that they even have a God. If you are looking if you're looking for beautiful words, then you have with you the words of Allah Azza wa Jal, the Quran al-Kareem. Ponder on them, the words of the Gnostics. That you have no time to waste. I'm not prohibiting, but how much of your life is remaining? you have free time to read the books of non-Muslims, of atheists, the one who does not accept the existence of God, and then and then books are either luminous or darknesses that have uh, uh, they could have beautiful words, but they have darkness in them, because everything you hear or see or read has an intention behind it, the intention of the author, the intention of the one who spoke those words. So Imam al-Ghazali, when he speaks, Imam Ghazali, we haven't met him, we haven't seen him, but he put or hid in his books secrets. And we'll mention uh, uh, something about what the Salaf, the early Muslims, said about his books. So Habib Ahmed bin Hassan al-Das also says, may Allah have mercy on him, whoever wishes to be from the foremost, then read the books of those who are the foremost. Meaning, if whoever wishes to be in the first row or in the front lines, read the books of those who came first. And whoever wants to be in the last row, read the books of those who came later. So there are people who say, I don't want to read books of old authors from a long time ago. The language is difficult. I want, and the words are not commonly used. I want to read a book that has easy words, something that I understand. Let alone somebody who forgot his language, and he only reads books of in foreign language, and does not read any book in Arabic. You should learn your language. You should master it as much as you can, so that it becomes your number one priority. Because when you read these books, the language of Arabic is one of the greatest means of spiritual openings. Because why else would Allah choose Arabic language as the language of the Quran? Because it's a language of in fact, the openings of a lot of the chapters, a lot of the chapters of the Quran open up praising the fact, or or mentioning the fact that the book is written in Arabic language, the clear Arabic language. Why else would Allah mention this fact, except that there is secrets in it? Like, for instance, if somebody keeps telling you to eat a certain type of fruit, keep a certain type of, if somebody keeps reiterating his or keeps advising you to eat a certain fruit or a certain vegetable, then you obviously know that those fruits or those vegetables that he's advising to eat have some benefit in them. So if Allah praises the Quran as a Quran that is written in Arabic, then learning Arabic should be a priority. So whoever wishes to be the four wishes to be ahead should read the early Muslims books. So whoever likes to read books of non-Muslims, and you find their books like really thick. Some of these stories are like as fat as how Habib showed. All of these are just talk and talk. If you were to put them in the scales against one statement of Imam al-Ghazali, it would outweigh all those books. But most people don't know. Also, Habib Abdul Rahman al-Saqaf, al-Faqih al-Muqaddam al-Thani, second Faqih, he said, the one who does not read Ihya, the one who does not study Ihya, which is Ihya al-Ulumuddin, does not have Haya, does not have shame. Also, Habib Abdullah al-Aidrus, he says about books of Imam al-Ghazali, he said Ihya al-Ulumuddin, he has gathered in it all of the secrets, or in it are all of the secrets. These are words of Habib Abdullah bin Abu Bakr al-Idrus, who's a Qutb, he's speaking about Ihya al-Madin. He's saying that in that book are all of the secrets. And he said, about Bidayatul Hidayah that in it is taqwa. It is because that means that whoever reads Bidayatul Hidayah, the beginning of guidance, and acts upon it will be from the muttaqin. And he said um, about the book Minhaj al-Abidin, that which Habib read a couple of years ago, that in that book is the way to Allah. It has the way to Allah. Minhaj al-Abidin of Imam al-Ghazali. And he spoke about the book Khulasa. He said that in that book is light. Imam al-Ghazali has a book Khulasa. He said in it is Nur. And he said, as for the book of 44 Foundations, which is the one that we're reading, he said he referred to it as Sirat al-Mustaqim, the straight path. And then Imam Abdullah al-Idrus said that the books of Imam al-Ghazali pull the heart. So this book that we're reading, the 40 Foundations, الأربعين الأصل, the great elect of the Arafin praised it, from the children of Alawi and others. And this book, 40 Foundations, Imam Abdullah al-Idrus referred to it as Sirat al-Mustaqim, the straight path. So whoever reads this book and acts upon it, implements it with sincerity, then it's a sign that he's on the straight path. And whoever walks the straight path, then he is from, and that is he is somebody who is mustaqim, he is steadfast, he's somebody who has istiqamah. As Allah says in the Quran, say I believe and be steadfast. This is the straight path. This is the summary of the straight path. Not obviously, we're not restricting it. We're saying in summary it is. These are words of the Gnostics, and the words of Gnostics is the word is truth. So we hope in Allah that we have hope in Allah that whoever reads this book and implements it is from those who are on the straight path. And whoever is on the straight path, he is referred to as people of istiqamah, people of steadfastness. And whoever stays firm on that straight path, he is referred to as people of thabat, of steadfastness. People who are firm and steadfast, that you are on the straight path wherever you are and whatever the time is, whatever country you're in, whether you're in Medina or Mecca or America, wherever you are, you are you, wherever you may be. No change in situation or environment changes you. We ask Allah that He makes us firm and steadfast. In this book, tonight will suffice with these examples that we mentioned. There's one last point left. All of this is introduction. Inshallah, the next lesson will begin the first chapter of the book. Imam al-Ghazali is considered, we reading this book with license and permission from our teachers. He is now one of our teachers, one of our sheikhs, and this is a great honor to have, that a person like him be one of your sheikhs, person like Imam al-Ghazali. Even if you and I were to live in his age, they would expel us. Imam al-Ghazali, his students, were the elect of the elect. They weren't just any person. Like some universities, it's said that only the elect students, the ones who have the highest scores, can attend such schools. Imam al-Ghazali, whoever wanted to study with him had to be from that degree. to be very intelligent, very present. If we were in his age, they would probably most likely expel us, not allow us. But from the mercy of Allah Azza wa Jal, that He has permitted us to read this book, and that makes him one of our sheikhs. And what that means is that we've now entered into his intercession. You have entered into his du'as, his supplications. You are now part of his du'as. You are now part of his brotherhood. So if he's your sheikh, in reality, he's your brother for the sake of Allah. Even though he's your sheikh and your teacher, but what unites you is the circle of brotherhood for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. Because we know that the Prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, despite his great stature, out of his humility, he said, "How I yearn for my brothers, the ones who came after him." So Imam al-Ghazali, we are entering into the blessings of taking from him. And it is said that every believer has an intercession, and the intercession of the ulama who are Gnostics is the greatest of intercession, because the Prophet, peace be upon him, said that the ulama are the inheritors of the Prophet. So we ask Allah that He make us be a part of the intercession of Imam al-Ghazali. And what entails this, or what this is contingent upon, is our etiquettes and adab and reverence for this. So the right that he has over us and the etiquette that we're supposed to show to the sheikh is that we're supposed to make dua for him always. We should make, wherever you mention or remember his name, you say Rahim Allah, may Allah have mercy on him, may Allah be pleased with him, may Allah sanctify his secret, or may Allah make us be united in paradise. And secondly, you always mention him in good words. Thirdly, you always defend him. Don't just be someone who takes from Imam al-Ghazali and then you don't defend him. By defending him, it means obviously you defend him with etiquettes, not through fighting, etc. Fourthly, you mention him in your gatherings. You say, Imam al-Ghazali said this, Imam al-Ghazali in his book said this, said so and so, said such and such. Fifthly, you visit him, alive or in, and we know that there's centuries between us, but may Allah honor us to visit him, even though he might be something difficult. And we hope that Allah honor us to visit him. But the least you can do is intend to visit him. And from the amazing things of visiting the awliya, all the awliyas, the arifun, the sahabas, if you were to visit the grave of one of them, it's as if you visited all of them. So you say salam, you send salams to the one you're visiting, and send salams to everyone else. Like for instance, let's say you visited any sahabi in any country. If you visit him, then send salams to the Prophet ﷺ and to all of the sahabas, the Khulafa Rashidin, the sahabas of Badr and Uhud and Bayt al-Ridwan. Send salams to them, because all of them are together in Barzakh. This is why we find that if you visit any prophet from the prophets, like Prophet Hud alayhi, they say salams to all of the prophets. They say salams to you, O Uhud, O Hud, salams to you, O Dhul Kifl, and so on and so forth. So Imam al-Ghazali, since we're not capable of visiting him, so what you can do instead is that if you were to visit any other wali, like Imam al-Shafi'i is buried in Egypt, in Cairo, if you visit him, then say salams, send salams to all of the ulama of the madhab al-Shafi'i, which includes Imam al-Ghazali. So you say salams to Imam al-Ghazali, Imam al-Nawawi, Imam al-Ramli, Imam Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, and all the Shafi'i ulama. Similarly, if you were to visit Tarim and you visit al-Faqih al-Muqaddam, then you send salams to him and you send salams to Imam al-Ghazali before him, because they're all together. Or you can even visit him when if you're flying over them, like if you're on a flight, you're on an airplane and it's flying over Khorasan, what is now Iran, and 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 you're flying over them, you can send salams to them there. The strange things of this age is that you can visit graves while flying over them. This is how a believer is. He makes the most of all opportunities. We ask Allah, He enables us to do practice what we've studied, and He makes us gather, make us be united with Imam al-Ghazali, and makes us receive his secret, his nur, and his gazes, and all the mashayikh who gave us permission to read this book. Oh Allah, just as you've enabled us to read this book, enable us to implement it, and for us and our children and all those whom we love. Al-Fatiha.
ورحمة الله وبركاته يا محمد، وجزاك الله خير. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته ياسين، ورضى عنكم كذلك الحبشي. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته وجزاكم كذلك الأخت مفيدة، بارك الله فيكم. نوفل، حياك الله يا نوفل. I am happy for this book. حبيبي, the first lesson to attend was on this book. The previous explanation, Sayyid Ahmed was the one who translating every Friday, then أذكار every Monday. I think yes, you're right. موجود أحمد، إن شاء الله جزاه الله خير. كلهم إن شاء الله جزاهم الله خير. اللهم صل عليه وسلم. I have searched for the videos of your explanation on إيش بيحكي هداية. أيوة بعدين I couldn't find them. نعم، لأنه درس بيت كان قديم منذ سنوات، وما يعني ما كنا يعني انتبهنا للتسجيل. فإن شاء الله لعله إن شاء الله يعني في المستقبل لعلنا نعيد قراءته. احنا ما نستغني عن كتب الغزالي إن شاء الله، يعني من المهد إلى اللحد كما يقال إن شاء الله تعالى. محمد شبير، جزاك الله خير محمد. السيد عادل الحاشمي، وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته جزاكم الله خير على الحضور. محمد بن هود، حياك الله محمد. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. يقول السيد عادل: كثرت على الناس ما يزعزع إيمانهم من نصيحتكم ما يعين على الثبات وتقوية اليقين وإيجاد المرجع بسند. صحيح، وهذا
We're in an age where there are tribulations that shake the heart. What are the things that you can advise us to make us steadfast in the path? There are things that make us steadfast are like is like sending salawat on the Prophet. The other thing that makes you steadfast is tahajjud. Even if it's 2 rakats and you can make dua and you can be consistent in that, it's not something simple. And we intend that in Rajab, these are the months, Rajab and Sha'ban, one needs to strive to do acts of worship. One needs to do these as much as he can before Ramadan to prepare himself. Also making the dua, Ya Muqallib al-Qulub wal-Absar, Thabbit Qulubna ala Dinik, and doing a lot of dhikr, and also loving the righteous. This makes the iman firm in the heart. The books of Imam al-Haddad, you'll find them in the in the um, in the bookstore Huruf. You can get it from Dar al-Minhaj. You can order it online, and they'll deliver it to you.
متى ميعاد درس أسبوعيا؟ مساء الثلاثاء 9 مساء.
The lesson is going to be every Tuesday evening at 9 o'clock, inshallah, Dubai time, and 10 o'clock Mecca time.
وقد يعني يتأخر يعني بضع دقائق.
It might be plus minus 15 minutes.
الأخت هناء الكاف ذكرنا مواعيد الدرس. الأخت علا وإياكم. الأخت آسيا، وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. هي سأدعو لي إيش معز وآسيا ويمن، الله يبارك فيهم إن شاء الله تعالى. حياكم الله، نستودعكم الله الذي لا تضيع ودائعه. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.